Hello, and welcome to the Comics Pals. We are live. It is Saturday morning, bright and early. Say hello if you are watching us live. Um, Interesting week. I mean, nothing really happened this week in the news, so I'm not sure
Hmm.
all the way what we're going to talk about. Nothing
No, we got
major.
nothing. We got nothing.
No.
I'm kind of sick. I got a cold I've been really suffering with the past couple of days. I could probably talk about that for a while.
Sylve's back. That's something.
Hey,
Oh, okay.
welcome.
That's news right
It's
there.
been a while. Yeah, that is news. We'll do the whole show about that.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else to talk about.
I believe that. Wait a minute. I remember something happening.
What's that?
I think
Ooh,
I read
something-
I think, you go ahead, Cal.
It has to do with the number, right? A Roman numeral, as it were.
Roman numeral. It was 2 Roman numerals, I believe.
I'm
Huh.
actually legit confused. I have no idea.
IV. What do you know what IV is, Cal?
Well, that's what I need at the moment.
Sure. Yep. You're not. It's not even early where you are. You don't need it. Sean and I need the IV drip right now.
I would love an IV drip right now.
But IV, I believe it's Roman. It's not. It's not Roman 4. I mean, is it Roman 4? Can I? Say
You guys
that?
better get to the fucking bit, please.
Fantastic Four got delayed, guys. Fantastic.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a friend Kefis in the chat. This
Oh.
Kefis Fantastic Four. Kefis Fantastic Four. Sean Kefis Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four Kefis. Sean,
Wait.
that reminds me of something. Wait. Kale, can I go back?
Wasn't there a bet?
Yeah, you know what? I might be able to just go back in the time machine. Why don't I?
So there was a little bet that came up in the Discord between Kefis and Manny, because Manny said that this movie he believed would firmly release in 2024. And Kefis said, I don't know if this movie's ever coming out. And so Kefis said, let's bet an omnibus. So loser gets the winner an omnibus. On his end, saying that this movie will not release on or before December 31st, 2024. I think I want to take that action.
You're saying it will release in 2024?
Yeah. And as you all know, if you're a regular listener, you know that I am currently locked in a bet with Kefis, one of the listeners who bet with me basically that Fantastic Four would not release before the year 2025. And I said, Kefis, my man, you're bugging. It's definitely going to come out before 2025. And so the release date is November 8th, 2024.
You gotta hit that 24. They
That's
gotta
a nail
do it.
biter. That's a nail
So-
biter.
So
It's 37 days.
all right. So what happens if they push it back? Do you lose the bet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It has to release within that window. They can delay it up to 37 days, but if they go past that, I lose the bet. Now, I'll tell you this. I think there is a 0% chance that this movie is delayed into 2025, barring some insane disaster.
Hi guys, we're back.
Wow.
I have regrets. And the first regret, the biggest regret,
It's putting me on the show.
is that I ever had the idea of saying, hey, what if we invite Tyler onto the show? It's my biggest regret.
6 years ago, Sean had the idea, let's start the Comics Pals.
That's a regret too.
Absolutely incredible. Well done, Tyler. Well done.
That's how I spent
Whoever-
my Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah, whoever you needed to get those times, I don't know if you did it by yourself, but like if
I
you had
might
a
have messaged
team,
some
like
people.
congratulations, you guys do a lap. Wow.
Thanks, Catherine, for the sub. Really appreciate that. Listen,
Quick
the
pivot
news
there.
is out. The news is out. Fantastic Four has been delayed. It's real. It happened. But it's all Blade's fault.
Oh wow.
All
Oh,
Blade's fault.
blame the
Oh,
black guy. Here we go.
Wow.
I am the black guy.
I blame you
Mm,
for getting this wrong.
That's some
I
what do
no.
they call that on Fox News? Some black on
Don't
black
don't
racism.
do it.
No.
What do they call it on Fox News? I listen.
You know Chicago, Cal. No.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about all of the reasons why this happened later. But for those of you who don't know what all this is about, well, I guess Tyler's video did a great job explaining. Kefis and I have the bet, which we still have. Okay, I have not lost.
I agree. I will say this cannot be done until we have like trailers for it. I think trailers
Yeah.
is safe with the date. Even then, I'm not even fully comfortable
the
with it.
The date has to pass. If we have to slip into 2025 before I'm paying out.
Yeah.
Fair is fair.
Because I think there could be a world here where Blade gets so delayed, they're like, all right, we got to push some stuff forward, you know?
That's right. Exactly. You're exactly right.
I'll have
It's
another
not
edit
over.
ready for Kefis with Discord.
I
and
don't.
everything.
I don't quit. I don't submit. This bet is not over. We are years from an outcome. Okay. I demand a recount.
You're like
I will
like
not
Ric
admit
Flair.
defeat.
You're like Ric Flair once he like flops onto the floor and gets right back up, sort of thing, you know?
Have we seen a case where they've pushed movies forward like that?
Yes, we have.
I'm sure you. I'm trying to remember. Was it Quantumania? Was one of them, and one of the Ant-Mans was pushed forward.
Listen, it's happened many times in history. Okay, it can happen again. I think Marvel would rather the world end than them not get Fantastic Four out in the year 2024. So I think they're going to find a way. Life always finds a way. Kevin Feige finds a way. Okay? It's going to happen. So Kevin, don't count. Don't go to Amazon.com. Don't go to, DCBScomics.com and start picking out the omnibus.
InStockTrades.com. InStockTrades is a good one as well. I recommend that one.
Don't go and try to, because listen, there's a lot more that could come out. You never know. Don't go and pick the omnibus out yet. We're still in this thing. All right. I'm not giving up. We're knocked down. We are, but we get back up. It's not over.
Big Chumbawamba fan, huh?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Well, you get knocked down, you get back up again.
Thanks, Cal.
All I know is that in the end, I will prevail.
Cal, I think,
That's you know what that is? That's some Doctor Doom shit right there.
That's true.
Despite all evidence to the contrary at the moment, listen, 4 will release in 2024. That's all I know.
Let me add more notes to my of when I need to take film edits. October 15th, 2022.
Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. Listen, I'd play Doctor Doom. I would.
I can see it.
I never would have thought Kefis would have been the Reed Richards in this scenario. Never would have pegged it.
Yeah. I think
He's not. I've got the hair for it. I've got the grays in the right spot for the Reed Richards.
I could be Doom. I got the face for Doom.
Hey, what? In Secret Wars, we learned Doom's a pretty hot guy. He just has a weird scar.
That's what I was talking about.
Where's your weird scar?
I have one from my dog right here.
Oh, all right.
She had a rage and bit me.
Well, that's what I feel like
Flame
doing
my
right
lip.
now.
You want? Oh, hey, Sean. Hey, you'll talk to me later.
Wow.
Oh,
Kev
You know,
Kev
Bex is in
says
the chat,
he is
right?
very tall. He's 6'5",
oh,
just
wow.
like Reed
Oh,
Richards.
Man. Well, Reed Richards his height is variable. I don't think.
Yeah,
consider
come
Reed
on.
Richards
There's a few things
Do you think-
variable about Reed Richards.
Do you think Reed's like dating
And-
profile just says like height, whatever you want?
N.A. Well, oh god. Kefis says his wife. Right. Well, all right. So you've got the Reed thing going. You do have that going. That's fine. But Doctor Doom, listen. I think Doctor Doom can make a movie come out whenever he wants. I'll say that. So.
We'll see after Wakanda Forever. I still have a bet with myself that we'll see some Doom then.
That we'll see Doctor Doom in Wakanda Forever.
End credits. Doom drop. End credits. Wakanda Forever.
Listen,
I'm not doing a bet. This is not. I'm learning the comics lesson here. There's no bet involved. This is just for me.
I don't think I've lost a bet yet. I don't think I have.
Sounds to me like you have.
I haven't. I haven't lost a bet.
You didn't bet that Marco would be on the show today, did you?
Sorry?
You would have lost that one if you bet Marco was on the show today.
I didn't. I'm the one who said on Thursday, I think Marco's not on the show, and you told me he was.
Well, I don't know.
I don't feel that I've lost this bet. And neither does Kefis. See, there you go. We're aligned. Just like I said when they announced the release date, the bet's not over.
Okay.
I don't think the bet's over.
All right, so I need the boys to come out with more really depressing music by like season 4 or whatever, so I can use that in the next edit.
The boys? You don't have to wait for the boys to find depressing music.
Well, I specifically I used the Homelander freaking out music in that video, so.
I'm not Homelander. How dare you compare me to that hack?
Wow, don't let him hear that.
Sounds like something Homelander would say.
It's quite Homelander of you.
Wow. Well,
You gotta before you say something like that, Sean, you gotta say no Homelander beforehand. That's how you get past it. It's just like I don't mean it like that, you know.
Tyler trying to get us in trouble again. Wow. If you wanna help me pay Kefis, patreon.com/thecomics where for as little as $3 a month you can support your boys and get some really cool stuff out of it too. You can get our exclusive show, Palling Around, which we gotta put a new one out. We gotta record one.
Sean, can I just make one quick mention? I gotta say, this is the most active the chat's been in a while, and people came to see your downfall.
I
like
realize that there's
Yeah.
nothing people love more, and I thank you, Tyler. I'm glad you brought that up because I do have something to say about that.
Okay.
There's nothing people love more than to see a winner lose. And let me
I thought
tell
were
you
gonna go
something,
somewhere
people.
else with this. Okay.
Hold
Well,
on,
then-
hold on. I'm on my soapbox. Let me tell you something, people. You came to the wrong show, if that's what you want to see. I haven't lost yet. Okay? What year is it? It's not 2025. It's 2022. I know it feels later because of COVID and all that stuff, but it's 2022. So until Kevin Feige tells me, listen, man, that movie's coming out in 2025, Jack. Until I hear those words, all right?
Yeah, you gotta tell him like, well, the name's Sean, not Jack.
I'm convinced that I will win this bet. We will see Fantastic Four in 2024, and Kefis is going to have to pay up.
Eat crow. Is that what they say?
Who's going to eat crow? Kefis isn't crowing. You are crowing. You guys are crowing.
I don't know
the
what the
chat's
expression
crowing.
means.
Hey Tyler, who are you rooting for in this one? I know who I'm rooting for.
I'm gonna have to go with Kefis on this one. No offense, Sean.
Why?
Kefis, he came back. He came for my show originally.
I was at your house.
Yeah, okay. You got points. You got points there. But Kefis, he was a long box boy before this, so you know.
So was I, you fool.
I know
I helped you
allegiance
promote your
to it.
show. I
Yeah,
did your show. What do you mean? What do you mean he's
put
a
out
long
that
box
Smash Brothers
boy?
episode, Sean.
What do you?
Yikes!
What did you say?
You didn't put out that Smash
Intention-
Brothers episode.
That wasn't my fault. Blame the guy with a wedding next week.
Wow.
I showed up. I
Wow.
did my part.
Wedding next week. That definitely ain't me. Patreon.
Yes. And one of the things you can get from our Patreon page is a superhero or supervillain nickname and a shout out. I would say today, you're all supervillains. All of you. At least in my life, the way you guys have done me dirty. I can't believe the turn. I can't believe it. But
Turn?
yes.
Was there anybody actually on your side here?
Sean, do you consider yourself like a heel or a face?
Face. Definitely. Right?
What do
I
I
think
consider myself? Of course I consider myself a face.
Yeah.
So when people consider themselves a face, that's when they get that go away heat. So
yeah.
No. Completely wrong. Okay. You know, the real thing is it's up to the people to decide. And I'm saying the people have chosen wrong. Catherine says, I ain't even said whose side I was on. You don't need to. I understand what's happening.
Sean is full on turned on to The Rock promoting Black Adam. Just like, okay. We get it.
Give spoilers for next week's episode, Sean? Because that's what The Rock's been doing too. So.
We're gonna be talking about that too. And you know, it's apropos, Catherine, that you've now turned on me. Because you're actually getting a shout out here. So here are all the people who have turned on me. Well, not all. They're not all here.
Here's a list of all my enemies.
Yes.
A very Reed Richards thing to say.
I mean, you guys cast me as Doom, so it doesn't even matter what I think at this point. Thank you to Thunderstruck, Rebecca Alejandro, the Night Stalker, Harris Nijinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Random Rocio, Kefis, the Incorruptible, the Great Destroyer, Hyper Viper 89, Momentum, Mike Elliott, Starcross, Catherine Stars, and the Ultimate Fighter, Snake of Talons. A guy, by the way, who I happen to really like. All right? Does he make the live show? No. But he also doesn't disparage me, so thank you.
Snake, just a little pointer. Make bets with Sean. He's not very good at them, apparently. So just go ahead and just.
Not very good at them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's got a whole podcast where he goes and whines about losing them. So
I didn't lose. I haven't
That's not
lost.
what the soapbox is.
I've done more gloating than whining because I haven't lost yet. Marco challenged me. What happened with that?
he did.
Apparently, we legitimately don't know where Marco is. Hopefully, I don't have to come back next week and apologize about that. That's a whole different show. We're gonna have a guest next week. I don't want to, have
That'd
to.
be awkward.
Yeah. Or what? How would we?
We
I don't even
usually
know.
give
how
him
we
like 15 minutes before the show to catch him up to speed. That'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But then we have to catch the audience up.
True. Yeah.
If you want to watch this show live so you can see me fight with the audience, twitch.tv/the Comics Pals every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. If you want to watch Pals Pulls live, which is our show where we review comics, that is every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Watch our latest book club. That, of course, being what do we do? Oh, Blackest Night. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, join our Discord server, youtube.com/the Comics Pals. Subscribe for free, like the video, share it with your friends. All that's free to do and helps out a lot more than it costs you. Thank you so much for getting us over 700 subs over there. That's awesome. We really appreciate that. Keep it up. Keep subbing if you're not subbed. Just if you don't even watch on YouTube, just head on over, hit the subscribe button, and go about your day. Watch our interviews from New York Comic Con while you're there. We did a bunch.
Yeah.
They're all out. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback. Thank you. Huge shout out to all the creators who joined us for that, who agreed to do interviews. That's awesome. Thank you to Tyler and Marco for sacrificing their time to get those out for you guys on a timely scale.
It's not much of a sacrifice for me when I'm at my computer anyway. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Do you know which one's doing the
just-
best views wise?
Do I know who's doing the best? I think it was wasn't it Rom V?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was a pleasant surprise,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, hey, Rob V's huge.
I know,
But
but like you have Scott Snyder and
I
like Tom
wasn't gonna
King
say
there
that.
too. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool to see.
Yeah. Rom V is not only huge in comics, Rom V is pretty,
tall dude.
huge in stature, a tall man. I didn't realize that.
Huh.
This is our first time meeting Rom in
discussion
person.
on men's heights this episode.
Well, listen, we're very focused on such
You
things.
sound like
I
my
could use
worst
a couple
fear when
of
it comes to people viewing my Tinder profile.
height. Is it really? Listen,
Yeah,
short
cool.
kings need love too. That's what I heard.
I feel like the only place a short king is going to be able to find anyone is at like a live podcast viewing. You know, like
Wow.
that's what people.
So last week we did the New York Comic Con recap, and so we weren't even able to get to the listener comments or anything like that from the Jeff Johns interview that we did, which was a huge moment for us. Serious thank you to everybody who showed up for that, made that as cool as it was, and has watched it. 1,600 of you have watched it. Countless others, I don't even know the number, that have checked it out elsewhere on podcast platforms and etc. So huge shout out to all of you for that. Check out our interviews again. Like, I really want to know what you guys think about what some of these creators had to say this past weekend at Comic-Con. It was a hugely fulfilling experience on a lot of levels. Like, this time last year we were in a different place, so it's really cool to be where we're at now, and all the great things that are going on.
Yeah, I just want to say great. I haven't been to a Comic-Con to do that stuff in a long time, but I just want to, on behalf of the audience, thank you guys for doing that and reaching out and doing what you do at those, because that's I think those interviews are an underrepresented moment in comics, and I think it's really important. So on behalf of the audience and people who want to know that stuff, thank you for doing them, and great work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I will take that on behalf of Tyler and Marco, because really I know you're saying it to me, so thank you.
Fair enough.
I'm really not like this, guys, I swear. Oh God. All right. So Tyler stepped away, so I will read the listener comments, unless you have them handy, Kill, and you want to do it.
I can get them.
Why would you
right
not?
now.
Well, why would I even say that? Of course you have them handy. Yep.
All right. This one is from our good pal Dan Trudeau from episode 311, NYCC 2022 recap. Dan says, just wanted to say congrats on your New York Comic-Con interviews. I imagine there's real pressure trying to get meaningful answers in such a short window, but you pulled it off. You can tell they appreciate the thought and perspective you put into it. Nice work. In terms of sorry.
I was going to say, let's respond to that part, and then
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It can be pressure. It depends. Like, sometimes you go up to a creator and you think you have, like, they're gonna, like, you go to them and you say, hey, do you have time? And you think they're gonna say, like, yeah, we'll do tomorrow at this time, and you can go home and prepare, scribble your notes or whatever, catch up on reading their work or whatever it is. And sometimes they say, like Tom said to me, like, hey, let's do it right now.
I was gonna ask about that, because we've been trying to get Tom forever.
So in that particular, there was a line, but it was for Clay Mann. Tom was sitting right next to Clay, but Tom didn't really have much going on. In fact, Tom stood up at one point just to kind of like look at his setup to evaluate
sorted
it.
his books. Yeah, he was like, oh,
yeah,
this here. Yeah.
And then sat back down, and we slid in. And he said, yeah, let's do it right now. So I didn't have any prep time, but that's okay. I've gotten used to that. So it was I really enjoyed speaking with Tom. It was a lot of fun. Hope to do it again. Tyler, what about you, man? I mean, you hadn't done any interviews for us before, so
I've never done interviews
not on the floor. Yeah, not at a
never
convention.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had one interview on the Long Box with Ryan Brown from God Hates Astronauts, and I was not happy with how I did on that. So my I guess perception on how I interview was like, oh yeah, I'm not great at it. But this was it got thrown into the fire. You know, like the Snyder interview, I didn't know what was happening for 20 minutes, and because Marco and I are millennials, we didn't call Sean, we just texted him to let him know. Which he didn't see. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do it. And I, just steeled myself and did it. But it was fun. I think I definitely got more comfortable as the weekend went on.
For sure.
Re-editing those, I realized the things I need to work on. But it's fine. It's fine.
That's
A lot of uhs. I don't know how to get rid of the in my. It's like it's a vocal loading screen.
You need speech therapy, man. It's just such a. Sometimes
I
I listen
therapist friends.
Joe,
I should talk to them.
and I'm just like, oh my god, why do I do these things? But yeah, I mean, it's
You just did an right there.
There, exactly. There you go. But yeah, thank you for that, Dan.
Here's the second half of that comment. Dan says, in terms of announcements, I'm just happy to see some Superman books I want to buy. I love the character, but really dislike the way he's been handled in recent years on the page and big screen. I picked up the last issue of Action Comics on your suggestion and thought, that's more like it when I was finished. The other announced books seem to be following suit.
Yeah, the new Superman line looks like it's going to be great. I've never been so excited. The only other time I was genuinely excited for Superman was when JMS joined the book, J. Michael Straczynski.
Oh boy.
I thought that was going to, I couldn't believe how good the Thor stuff was, the Spider-Man stuff. I was like, this is going to knock me away. This will be my way into Superman. And then my man took a walk for 14 issues, and I was out.
The guy said, I'm going to write my Forrest Gump fanfic right now.
With Superman.
All right. Steve Hughes on the same episode says, just discovered you guys tonight, listening to a couple of recent shows here on YouTube. Subscribed, loving the DC news. Greetings from England.
Hey, thanks. Kale, you got anything to say to this guy? He's from England.
Kale's barely from England.
He's not from England at all.
Yeah, hang on. Let me think. Oi, mate. Hello, governor.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to the chippy.
Damn, this is white on white crime right now.
How's Steve? How's the cost of living crisis treating you?
Oh, yeah, how's the energy over there? Oof.
Well, if you came for DC news, you're definitely going to be disappointed today because the only DC news we're talking about is Black Adam. And we're going to talk about our excitement level given that the movie comes out next week. So,
fuck, I didn't even know.
Minimal.
That's
how I describe it.
Yeah.
All right. Alexander Bruno says, I'm bummed I kept passing you guys while you were interviewing people, and I didn't want to scare Marco because he was very focused behind the camera. You should have.
Yeah.
Should have kicked him.
Next time. Oh, I don't want to go that far. But we are super approachable. Once someone's recording a video, the other two guys aren't doing shit.
Yep.
So we have a timer going on. As long as the timer, we're checking the timer. It's like, all right, wrap it up, sort of thing. So next time, if there's next time, definitely feel free to approach us. One of the things I was doing during your Tom King interview, Sean, was Tom's line started growing as you started the interview. So I was playing a bit of
blocking
a line monitor actually. I was talking to the people on the line, I was like, all right, what do you got? What are you getting ready to get signed? Some guy was showing me his books, handing out cards, I was doing a little bit of that. So feel free.
Yeah.
Nice.
We actually got a few people who said a similar thing, and just come up to us. We are very, very down to meet you guys. And quite frankly, it looks like we're, what we're doing is really, really crazy because we've got this huge camera cannon and all that, but we welcome it.
Go ahead, Taylor.
And that doesn't mess up the recording either, because it all, I mean, unless you bump the camera, but like, it won't, affect the sound quality or anything, because that's all coming through the microphone. So, feel free to come up, say hi,
Loudly.
kick Marco. Yeah.
Even if you notice like the camera is facing like a crowd or something, and you want to like wave to the camera in the background as like an Easter egg, that'd be fun.
Absolutely
Don't do
do
that.
it.
Don't do that.
No,
I say do
it.
that. That's fun. And I can edit that with some fun. I can blur your face out.
All right. Pete Foltz on the Tom King interview says, quick, but such a good and fun interview. Well done, Sean.
I know who you are, Pete Foltz. Okay.
Yikes.
I know who you are. And to you, I say thanks.
Sean had no idea that was happening either. Like you were the Tom King thing. It's like you just got to the con. You're, 6 inches deep into a pretzel. And then
6
we're like,
inches.
you were like, yo, Sean, you ready for this? And you were like, oh, yeah. You were on the ball on that one. So kudos to you, Sean.
Thanks. I learned a long time ago that I cannot get ready at Comic-Con. I have to just stay ready.
All right, Zack Ryder.
And listen, there's nowhere Sean would rather be than 6 inches deep in a pretzel.
That's what I learned
I
at
can think
Comic-Con.
of
Sean likes a
few.
pretzel.
I really, really do. Yeah. And unfortunately, the quality of the pretzels this year was very low. There was
really?
one year.
Pretzel game.
No, there were 2 years where they had Bavarian pretzels at Comic-Con.
Ooh,
And
that's good.
I just about died. Like, heaven for me would include Bavarian pretzels.
Heaven is for real.
If there
from
are
Sean.
Bavarian pretzels, yeah. Maybe heaven is in Bavaria.
Could be. Maybe Latveria.
No, only Doom is in Latveria.
Fair.
All right, here's a couple of comments from our Jeff Johns interview. Dave Lothar says, terrific and fun interview, well produced, one of the best comic book writers ever. And Alexander Bruno says, this was so awesome, guys. That was 2 hours that flew by. Really good job. Tyler was silent for the first time.
Hey, we got the first comment was like great production. That's what I was fucking doing. I was making sure things didn't break. All right. Next time there's someone on it, now that I'm confident in the setup, I'm gonna be talking too much. So
Hey, Jeff Johns complimented you. He said, wow, I can't believe these images are coming up when I'm talking about this stuff.
you did. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
This was one of the few interviews we've done on the show where I was listening to it and I was like, I don't want this to end.
Sure.
I rewatched the show.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Like I listened to it.
Yeah. We got it's hard to like even put into words how much awesome feedback we got even throughout the weekend about this interview.
My dad was texting me. He's like, "Hey, my friend saw your podcast. He was surprised you got Jeff Johns." I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
Yeah. Everyone I've told, like people who know comics or whatever, they're like, "Oh my god, you got Jeff Johns."
Yeah.
That's what we said.
Yes, yep.
That's what we said. So and hopefully we can do that again. I would love to do that again.
Oh,
It-
I mean, he seemed like he was having a good time. So I think I'm hopeful.
Yeah, and it's emboldening too. We're definitely going to keep having, big guests on the show. We're seeking that out actively. So if there are people you want us to have on the show, let us know. Maybe at them on Twitter.
Yeah, let
and
them know.
Tell them,
Bug 'em.
hey, yeah, annoy them.
Even like if there are other like podcasts you listen to, or Instagram accounts, or like TikTokers, I think we'd be down for something like that too, right? A little
I
collabby.
wouldn't know what to do with a TikToker, but yeah, I mean,
We'd have to do
Sure.
dancing. We'd have to dance.
I'm an all right dancer.
I feel like you would be a decent dancer.
I'd have to limber up for sure, but
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Let's get you some. I almost said lube. Still said it.
Oh my god, no
Gotta
filter.
oil you like the Tin Man. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of in terms of lubricant.
lube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna need to lube me up to accept Black Adam next week.
October 15th. I'll make sure I keep that sound.
You could have phrased that better.
I phrased
not
it
your
how I
best
wanted
segue,
to.
Sean.
That was I choose my words carefully. So Black Adam is finally upon us, and I've been trying to gauge my hype level because I thought, hey, yeah, this is what The Rock has wanted for all these years. You know, The Rock has talked a lot about wanting to play this character. Even before the big superhero boom, we've heard about Black Adam being The Rock's go-to character. And
Which I gotta say,
Yeah.
15 years ago, that is his go-to. Strange choice, Mr. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it makes sense. Like, I guess maybe it would have made more sense for him to want to play like Jon Stewart, but for The Rock to see himself, a former wrestler, as, yeah, I'm this, guy who lives on the fringe between good and bad. I'm this Egyptian royalty. I could see him, hearing about this character from someone else, certainly not reading the books, but hearing about the character and saying, yeah, this speaks to me and all that stuff. So I buy it. I think a lot of people have expressed, a question mark as far as whether he's being sincere about this. I don't question that. I do feel like The Rock is a pretty sincere guy, and I don't think he would have a need to go this hard for the character if he didn't care, because The Rock makes a lot of money every year.
my thing with The Rock, my thing with Dwayne is that I don't think I do think he cares, especially about Black Adam. But I always feel like this dude is constantly working. This guy hasn't been shooting in a long time. This guy's constantly on the promo train. Like, anytime I see him talk, it's just like, all right, let me promote my energy drink, promote Black Adam in the same half sentence, where it's both insincere and sincere at the same time. It's like this weird thing that I feel like only The Rock can do, where it's like, oh yeah, I see your excitement for something, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like you're being a little too. He's been promoting this almost a little too much for me, where it's killed my hype for it.
Well, yeah. So I do agree with that in the sense that my hype level is lower because of how much promotion there's been for this movie. I kind of don't want to hear The Rock talk about it anymore. I want to see it and make up my own mind, and I don't want any slogans or catchphrases. But again, if you know Dwayne Johnson from wrestling, this is par for the course. This is what he does. And I get that part. I have a feeling, and we're going to do the review next week, so, you'll hear our thoughts, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a rockification of Black Adam. I think it's pretty clear that we're headed down that path where Black Adam is going to be a way more important character in the wider DCFU than he ought to be because of who's playing him. And sure, we've seen that happen in Marvel to some degree, but they earn it through the films themselves, I think, and through performances. Is Ant-Man as big of a character in the comics as he is in the movies? No. But hey, you got Paul Rudd, and they've made it work. It's been great. It's been really fun. Black Adam's a villain. I think of Black Adam as a villain first, with the potential to, lean the other way if the right situation comes up and Kondak's on the line, or there's something bigger on the line. But I don't think this movie is portraying that. I don't know. Haven't seen it. Some people have, though. So I wanted to address some of the reactions that we've seen to the movie. And so this one comes from Brandon Davis, who is a writer and interviewer over at comicbook.com. And so on Twitter, at Brandon Davis BD, he said, Black Adam is built on some epic nonstop action. It made me want a sequel with a smoother story immediately. When it moves, it's a straight shot of adrenaline. The characters are dope, especially Teth Adam and Dr. Fate. It's a badass film.
One of the things I keep seeing throughout this is like everyone's like, "Yo, Dr. Fate kind of steals the show in this." there's a lot of Pierce Brosnan love that I've seen from these reviews. Which, if someone's gonna get
I'd
me
love
excited, that might be it.
Yeah.
I think that's been clear from the trailers.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Fate has seemed like a pretty fun character in this movie.
Although I don't care much for the Tony Stark inside the helmet situation they got going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what
And
it
that's
is,
just
but-
the nature of the business. They want to show these actors' faces, and I get that, but it does feel like a betrayal. I don't know if I am wrong for thinking this, because my familiarity with Dr. Fate actually comes mostly from Injustice. So what I'm about to say is almost assuredly wrong. But in my mind, the fact that Dr. Fate has that helmet on is supposed to be sort of mysterious, maybe a little creepy even. But I think that's just coming from Injustice. But that's what I think about. So like I don't even want to see who's behind the mask.
Yeah, you're right. When the helmet itself is like its own entity.
Oh.
So when someone wears it, essentially Dr. Fate is his own thing. And Pierce Brosnan is a completely different guy.
Okay.
I think at some points, like Kent Nelson becomes unconscious, right? And then like the helmet kind of takes over.
Something
Is
like
it
that,
Naboo?
yeah.
Wow.
Naboo?
The helmet's name is Naboo, I think.
Something like that, yeah. Not
Yeah.
where the Gungans live, you know.
I was gonna say, wait a second.
Speaking of, I have this guy here.
Ah,
The
come
little
on.
gun at my desk, you know.
Don't show that. No one wants to
Little
see
Jar
that.
Jar Binks.
Someone
Although,
wants to see
I
that.
did see somebody clip a bit from I guess it's the Phantom Menace, where Jar Jar is at the Senate, and he makes like under his breath about Padme, like, oh she is so hot or something like that. I'm like, bro, she's like 14 in that movie, like Jar Jar.
Well,
We need to
Jar
chill.
Jar didn't
We
write
need
the
to
movie, so let's question that person.
Trust me, I think that whole prequel trilogy needs a little more cocaine, honestly.
Whoa. Yeah, but so, and then the other part of this whole Black Adam deal is the conversation around Superman and Black Adam, which I have to say I am so over. This is the equivalent of people saying, to make a wrestling reference, like, oh man,
It's appropriate.
CM Punk and Hangman Page is a dream match. No, it's not. Whoever said that? Why is that a dream match? I feel like, Dwayne in this case is trying to sort of make Superman and Black Adam a dream match, and people are falling into it. And that's cool. If you're excited, get excited. That's awesome. But for me, I've never really cared about the thought of that. And it was cool in Forever Evil to see Ultraman and Black Adam face off, just because they were two really powerful dudes who are going to beat each other up pretty good. I don't really get excited to see Superman fight anybody, because when Superman fights, it's not for cool, it's for saving the world. I don't think of Superman that way. So this whole buildup has been really weird to me, and I don't want to build up to. I don't think that should ever be what you build up to with Superman. Is a big fight. That to me is a misunderstanding of the character. That's what everybody gets wrong. So I'm not excited for this idea at all. But that's just me.
I think what people are excited for is the potential return of Henry Cavill more than anything. It's like, well, will he show up in this movie, sort of thing, rather than like, I want to see Superman and Black Adam fight. I think it's more people like, I want to see Henry Cavill do something again with The Rock.
I think it's both.
And especially the way The Rock's talked, like if you read the interviews, he's clearly hyping up a fight with Superman. So
yeah,
that's not, I don't know, that's not that cool to me. And I definitely don't want to see something like that in like a Black Adam 2. The Rock was asked about that, and The Rock said, yeah, I don't know if a Black Adam movie is the right place for that. We'll have to see. It's probably something coming down the road. But because you keep talking about it, it's like it's almost harder to get excited for something like that. I want you to put the big moments in the movies and let us see them and enjoy them when they happen. If you're gonna hype something that's years and years and years away, how do you get excited for something?
Dude's
like
been hyping up this movie for 15 years. Like, this is all he does,
Right.
Yeah.
But that's a moment, not a movie.
Sure.
Like, you want to hype me a movie, yeah, Marvel can look how well, not all of us, but we get excited when Marvel shows us a timeline of movies. Sure. But don't try to hype me on a moment like, hey guys, Doctor Doom's gonna be fighting Reed Richards in Secret Wars. Get ready, because in 7 years it's gonna happen. Okay.
I don't know, that kind of hypes me up, to be honest.
I mean, it does, but they make sense together. None of this makes sense to me.
You know what I much more rather see Zachary Levi as Shazam versus Black Adam. Like,
Yes.
that's a more interesting, because of the dichotomy between the two characters. Like Superman and Black Adam, especially DCEU Superman, kind of similar. The whole funniness of Shazam and it being a kid and he's kind of a doofus versus like this super grimdark Black Adam, I think that's a fun dynamic. That would be more fun.
By the way, that's also the comics. So I was hyped for Black Adam the second they announced Shazam. I thought, this is what they're going to do. And then when they didn't do it in the first one, I said, okay, that's fine. Dr. Sivana, no problem. Shazam 2, Black Adam. No, it's some random old women. Okay.
Whoa.
I'm not hating on old women. I'm just saying it's
Lucy Liu.
No, I don't care about who the actors are. I'm talking about the characters. That's all. Who are these characters?
People? No.
Lucy Liu is awesome.
When there's a giant Mr. Mind gap somewhere, like what are you doing? Come on.
I think too the Black Adam Superman stuff is also very clearly such a personality battle. Like he's trying to, go this supremacy over Superman or whatever. It's like, look, I mean, Superman's not about that. Like, if The Rock wants to be the personality of the DCU, okay, let him have it. Like,
and my last thought is, to piggyback, I don't want to see Dwayne The Rock Johnson versus Henry Cavill. I want to see in this scenario, right? Like, if I were going to get hyped, I want to be excited for Black Adam versus Superman. Again, everything I said stands. But if you're going to present that moment anyways, I don't want to get excited for the actors. I want to get excited for the characters.
Sure.
And I feel like it's so much talk from the real person. I can't lose myself in your character. It's too much talk. You talk too much.
And not, no disrespect to Dwayne Johnson, but like that's the problem with Black Adam right now. It's just like it's Dwayne Johnson. Like they're not Black Adam toys. They're very clearly Dwayne Johnson toys.
Exactly.
Even like the new Fortnite skin is like they just reused the Rock model they have already in game. Like just put a Black Adam skin on him. Like it's becoming Rock Adam at this point.
Gotta love it. Well, either way, we'll be sharing our thoughts next week on the Black Adam film. So stay tuned for that review. Won't be on the main show. It'll be, a separate thing. So that'll drop on Monday when everything normally comes out as far as this show is concerned, dropping on all podcast platforms and YouTube. So stay tuned for that. Shifting over into comics, let's talk about a major return that is happening really soon. Not talking about a character, actually talking about a writer named Warren Ellis. So Warren Ellis is, of course, a very, very talented writer who has done a lot of stuff in his career. Warren Ellis did The Authority, right?
Yep.
Warren Ellis did Wildstorm. Warren Ellis has done so many.
Thunderbolts.
Yes, Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
the
Next
incredible
wave.
Thunderbolts run, which, if you are a member of our Patreon page, you could vote for in our book club poll, which is up now. So, there's other things you could vote for too. But
Campaigning here. Jeez.
listen, man, someone has to.
Fair.
I didn't even know there was a poll up, so
Your pick is on there, Cal.
I couldn't tell you what it is.
That's so funny, Wolfio. Oh my God. Brendan Fraser had to return to Hollywood before Rock could get out of that curse.
What, you think Brendan Fraser's blackballing on Hollywood somehow had a blast radius effect and caught the Rock and the Scorpion King crossfire there.
Oh man, I love that. And yeah, I don't think he had the acting chops to do the character 15 years ago. I don't know that he does now, quite frankly.
He's made it himself.
Exactly. When you just turn every character into yourself, you don't need to act. You can just be yourself.
And you see that picture at all where it's like, oh, these are 5 different movies, and it's like The Rock in like a button-up, like tan shirt, like
Yeah.
3
I
button
haven't,
shirts.
but that's funny.
It's like Jungle Cruise, both the Jumanjis, Fast and the Furious, the Hobbs and Shaw. Like he's the same guy.
So Warren Ellis is a critically acclaimed writer who 2 years ago was called out by a collective group of women who accused him of I guess the word would be womanizing.
I would say misconduct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a catch-all. That's fair.
Well, but he wasn't accused of any kind of sexual.
No.
Yeah, so I don't want to give the wrong impression.
He was accused of using his position of power in the comic books industry to flirt and not seduce. That's a weird word.
Seduce, yes, he was seducing. Seduce.
Look at this dude. This dude ain't seducing nobody. No offense, Warren. But
all right, well, listen.
I mean, look at that hat, though.
Well, that's a milady hat right there.
Power can be seductive, okay?
Sure,
Influence can be seductive. And so Warren used his position to get with these women, and many of them felt they were mistreated by Warren, and so they put together a collective called So Many of Us. SoManyOfUs.com has many of the accounts. Warren responded to this by saying that he was going to take a step back from comics, focus on listening and learning, and being a better person. Over the years, we have received updates from SoManyOfUs.com that have indicated that Warren and the members of this group were in contact via a mediator, and that Warren was doing the work, to the point where several of the people who were involved in this project have actually stepped away because they feel that they have been able to heal appropriately and no longer want to be a part of this story. And so I guess now Warren Ellis has decided that the time is right to step back into writing comics and is dipping his toe into the waters via a graphic novel called Lights Out. It's an anthology featuring many different comic creators. It actually was announced at New York Comic Con, but it's featuring Justin Jordan, Dean Haspiel, Madeline Rosca, Warren Ellis, of course, Ben Temple Smith, and many other names. So one of many names there. The publisher of the book is the publisher's called Rocket Ship Entertainment, and Tom Ackle, who is the publisher of Rocket Ship, said, "We have been following statements and updates by both So Many of Us and Warren based on those which state that Warren has engaged with the mediator since August of 2021, that So Many of Us has reiterated that there is no will to, quote, cancel him, and that the majority of So Many of Us have found peace and have moved forward. We will be publishing a short story by Warren Ellis in next year's Lights Out anthology." And that's all. So the question here that I have for you guys is, do you feel in this case that Warren Ellis has paid penance, that Warren Ellis has done the work, and that we are ready for a Warren Ellis return to comics? It's going to happen either way, but do you feel like it's earned?
I have 2 thoughts here. First is strange choice to jump to a company whose logo looks like they're part of a parody porn company.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like Wood Rocket or something before this. But secondly, it's not my call. Like, this isn't my decision. Like, I don't get to say, like, yeah, it's fine, he's ready. No, it's not.
No shit.
If he feels like he's ready,
there's a
go
podcast
ahead.
where we talk about what we think, Tyler. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
getting to it.
Hurry up.
If Warren Ellis feels like he's ready and he wants to do it, sure, go ahead. I would probably check out something by Warren Ellis if it was like at the big two. Nothing about this project really screams I need to read it.
Yeah, it's a horror anthology.
Yeah, which is like the soup of the day in comics right now. But hey, if this is his way of like working from like the bottom of the Mortal Kombat ladder again, going to the top, like let's hope there's no fatalities in between.
Oh God!
But let's sure. If the thing is like if the people who work is it what's the abbreviation here? I almost thought SMOU.
SMOU.
SMOU. If they feel like it's fine, then hey, that's their call, and I'm cool with it. Like historically, before like I found out all about this Warren Ellis stuff, like he was one of my favorite writers. Like probably Thunderbolt and Next Wave, his Moon Knight, like they're like some of my favorite books of all time. And they still are. Fucking Next Wave has Imminent on it. Like there's nothing. It's fantastic. But I can separate the art from the artist in that instance because like I can recognize, oh, this is a big two corporate Marvel book that I like. But the creator does some little creepy stuff, So if the people that were hurt by this are okay with it, then I could be okay with it too. But I don't know how I ever get that confirmation really, unless there's an update from them. So,
well, there is. The So Many of Us.com website has had updates throughout the years.
Has there been an update once this has been announced, or
that I don't?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they need to plug his new book, but I don't want that website to just be Warren Ellis' fan site at this point. Like that's not what I want. But I don't know.
How about you, Kale?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
How
my
about you,
answer's the same.
Straight white male.
What do you want us to do?
My answer's the same. It's just not that I'm not a fan of Warren Ellis. I like the stuff he's written, but I've never been like a diehard follower like some people. And so when this stuff came out, I was just like, oh well, I could keep doing what I'm doing, not reading Warren Ellis then.
Yeah, I mean, once I saw this announcement, I'm like, all right, it's nothing new for me.
Yeah, so if they say cool and everybody's cool, okay. I hope it's true that everybody's cool,
So we talked about this story extensively as it was unfolding back in 2020. Warren Ellis, at that point especially was, I mean, I think a lot of people would have said, man, one of the greatest comics writers. And definitely someone whose work I've enjoyed, but also someone whose work I haven't delved into enough.
Sure.
Mm.
And it was sad. It was sad because, here's a group of over 60 women who are accusing.
60?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, dude.
And those are just the ones that came forward. Those are the ones that put together,
damn, Daddy, chill.
this collective.
Well, and you got to remember, it was like a forum's worth of people, it's like,
right.
That it, like, if I recall correctly, like his forum was like the place for comic books at the time, so.
His forum was the Whedon-esque of comics. For those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I mean, it sounds more appropriate than.
Joss Whedon had a forum where all his fans would go and they would obsess over Buffy and Firefly and all that stuff. And I don't remember reading necessarily that similar things were happening over there. But it was a similar style of place. And so Warren Ellis had his thing and he was using that to his advantage. It's messed up. It's definitely messed up, and it's definitely weird to know that about someone who you otherwise have respect for, created. I remember that Batman's Grave was actually being published at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm normally I'm the guy who's like, separate the art from the artist. I kind of put that book down.
It soured me on it too. Yeah, because I was enjoying it, and I was like, nah, bad taste in my mouth right now.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But again, by all accounts, Warren has done the work, so that's a positive thing. And again, if any of the accusations, if they were a shred more serious, it would be like, I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe you need to just be, maybe go find another line of work.
Go out to pasture. Yeah. I
But
do like how all these women unionize on his ass. Like that was cool to see. They're like, hey, we're gonna fucking form a collective, action against you. I was like, fuck yeah.
I respect
I
the
like
way
to
they
see
did it.
that,
I
yeah.
respect that their message was, listen, we're not even looking for any type of cancellation. We're not looking for Warren to lose work or money. We are people that are legitimate fans of his who are, impacted by his actions toward us. And we would love it if we could receive healing, and maybe he needs some healing too. I
Mm.
thought that was beautiful. And I'm glad that it seems to have sort of worked out until I hear otherwise. And so,
And
yeah,
that's another big part of it.
right. But they have created a platform where they can say otherwise.
Yeah.
And we believe it. So kudos to them. And I'm not going to say kudos to Warren, but I will say, continue to do the work.
Nah, no kudos needed when you have a whole website dedicated to women coming out to to shame you for your behavior. Like that's L right there. Like that's
I do think maybe coming, I don't know, quote unquote, coming back from through an anthology and, kind of like you say, working through the rankings, like he's not going to have to do that. But I do sort of think dipping your toe into the water, maybe with an anthology and then maybe a couple of, indie opportunities coming out, it does make me a bit more inclined to go, oh, this is a Warren Ellis thing. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way, but if I see it and it makes me go, okay, let's see what he's got to say through his work now, more than just shutting it down altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And he has reinstated his newsletter and talked about how he intends to sort of make a return to comics in 2023. So this feels like a precursor to that.
Mm.
And I'm not like over the moon about Warren Ellis returning, but like Kale said, if there's stuff out and it looks good and it's up my alley, then sure, I'll I'll treat it like anything else. The next thing we're going to talk about is not anything else. This is special. This is worthy of celebration.
ooh.
Yeah, we've got an anniversary on our hands. The anniversary of Disney. Disney.
My Disney adult shirt
celebration?
Right now. Hold on.
Yeah. Tyler is
Oh, boy.
switching into his Disney adult character. Well, that's him all the time, but
Well, no,
Yes.
Disney adult character says really stupid shit like, "Oh, I don't like this new overlay to Splash Mountain. Keep the zippity doodah on that ride." Like those guys are a little. Ooh, boy.
Yeah, no, we've all heard that from you. Nobody's.
Whoa! I'm not a Splash Mountainer right now. Don't put that on me. I'm fine with that. Do you know what's happening there?
don't get into it. So
No, we don't need to. We don't need to.
Disney is celebrating their 100th anniversary. Now, does that mean that they're turning 100, or that? Because that always confuses me.
I believe it is like the anniversary of the company Disney. It's not Walt Disney's 100th anniversary.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I believe it's of the company, which I think is like when Walt started doing Mickey Mouse. I think, even though he was doing Oswald beforehand, but yeah, I think it's more of the company. They're a little fucky wucky with their anniversaries. They'll just put one out whenever they feel like it. So,
Well, for Marvel's sake, it's a cause to do something that I think is really cool. They are doing crossover covers for Disney, using the what if concept to make these covers make sense. And so what they are their classic covers from the ones we've seen so far, anyways, are Avengers, Fantastic Four, and Incredible Hulk. There are going to be several more that they do put out, but these are the ones that we've seen to this point. There will be 12. And I think they look great. So the Avengers one, for example, features the team of Avengers, Iron Man,
Yep.
Wasp, Captain America,
the Fab Five
Thor.
right there.
Yeah. But they are Disney-fied. So Goofy, for example, is Iron Man. Donald Duck
Yep.
is Thor. This is great. I love this.
I'm surprised we haven't had this sooner. Like, how long has Disney owned Marvel at this point?
It's
10 years?
been like something like 14 years.
Shit. And
It's like 2008. Yeah.
Yeah.
the only time they've done this is at like D23 for like variants. Like
Right.
this is the first time that they have really said, all right, here's actual Mickey Mouse in your Marvel comics.
On your cover.
On your cover. Yeah.
I love it. I
It's
think
cool.
I've seen some complaining. Oh, the Disneyfication of Marvel. It's real. Is what we always said would happen. Relax.
I was seeing it on the Warren Ellis forums years ago. So
Yeah, that's not a new conversation.
No, certainly not. But they're taking this cover as proof of them being right, and it's like, no, this is a cover.
Mickey Mouse isn't gonna meet Peter Parker. It's fine.
Right. I maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I genuinely believe they know where the line is. I really do.
yeah,
Hmm.
I think so too.
The fact that we haven't seen a Darth Vader crossover
Yeah,
with the Avengers yet, like I think
Although I kinda
means
want
they
that.
know it. Like it's
I
not
kinda want
it's
that.
not crazy.
Like we had Secret Wars happened and we did not get crossover with other IP. Like
Yeah.
I think we're safe.
Yeah, they
means nothing.
could've,
They're just
but
variants.
That's like the
will be
break
sold-
glass moment.
These will be sold probably in the Disney stores too, like at the theme
Yeah.
parks. So, 100 years, that's big. So they kind of want to do something little fun with it. I really like this Fantastic Four cover. Like I might seek that out. Like Pete as the mole man monster.
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
that's right down my alley.
Oh, is that his name? I was thinking it was Bluto.
That's Popeye.
Oh,
Yeah, same
they're
archetype.
not the same. Yeah,
Not the
they're
same,
not the
no.
same. You're right.
One's a dog.
I think my favorite one is actually the
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk one. I just think it's so funny, the
And
idea.
then it's Goofy.
Goofy is the
See some
Incredible-
swole ass Goofy here.
I think that makes a ton more sense than Goofy as Iron Man.
Certainly, yeah. I don't know. I think these are great, and I wanted to include this so you guys could see them, or at least hear us describe them if you're listening, and know that these are coming your way in 2023. I will be buying every single one. So
Look at you, you Disney adult. Even to get you like a People Mover shirt or something.
what
What?
shirt is it that you just put on?
It's got all the classic Disney movies on it, like Bambi and Peter Pan
Right.
and
Where are
Dumbo.
you going
I'm
on
going to
vacation
Disneyland
in 2
like,
weeks?
2 weeks. Yeah, you're
Right.
I'm really digging a hole there.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
full-on
exactly.
Disney adult. Can't wait to ride Splash Mountain.
Y'all
done it.
perverts.
I've never done it.
Don't try me.
Kale
Tyler.
hates theme parks.
I
Theme
love
parks?
theme parks.
I hate
you a
Disney.
roller coaster guy, Sean?
Yes.
Yo,
For,
I still haven't gotten the Jersey Devil yet.
I don't do the like extreme roller coasters because people die, and I know
Nobody
that if I do
dies.
it, I'll be one of them. But like, I'll do some. I have fun. I like roller coasters. The Mummy ride in Universal
I've
Studios.
never done it. I'm doing that coming up. I'm excited, man. I'm hyped.
Dude, that my girlfriend and I one time, it was raining in Universal Studios, and we went on it over and over and over again. 'Cause
Yeah.
There was no line.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry, I'm getting lost. It's
Well,
a
that's
whole other
Brendan Fraser
podcast.
coming back. Brendan Fraser coming back again on the podcast.
Yeah.
Why
As
don't
my
y'all
friend
fucking
texts me during this, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna meet Brendan Fraser on Sunday." I'm like, "What?"
Nice.
Yeah.
Give him a card.
Oh, I should. Good call.
Yeah.
We could talk about Doom Patrol in this podcast.
Yeah, there's an in. Firefly. See what happened there.
Absolutely. We could talk about the Mummy. If we have Brendan Fraser on, we're talking about whatever we want.
Brendan, how does it
Shit.
feel awakening all of the millennial bisexuals with the Mummy and with Rachel Weisz?
Well, I mean, you're also neglecting George of the Jungle.
The only movie I ever walked out of as a kid. I was like, Mom, not interested. We left.
Oh, I watched that over and over again.
So we are getting a Silver Surfer series. Feels like Marvel does these. Yeah, there you go, Tyler. Take that off.
Character's gone.
It feels like Marvel does one of these Silver Surfer minis every year, every couple years. They toss one out.
They're good.
This one's going to be Silver Surfer Ghost Light, and it's coming out in February. It's going to be 5 issues. It's bringing back Silver Surfer, but that's not all. We're getting someone named Ghostlight. We don't quite know who that is. They're teasing bringing another major cosmic player into the fold, but we don't know who that necessarily is. This is the tease. Tony Brooks and her family have moved into the quiet town of Sweetwater, but nothing is quite what it seems with their new home. What mystery did Tony and her family unravel that would call upon the sentinel of the spaceways, the Silver Surfer? And just who or what is Ghostlight? So John Jennings, who won an Eisner, is going to be writing this with and going to be teaming with Valentine DeLandro, who you'll know from Bitch Planet. Highly successful book. To tell this story. I think these Silver Surfer minis have generally been good, generally done well. So there's really no reason to fear in these situations. Marvel seems to kind of know what they want these to be, and apparently they work.
Did you guys check out Donny Cates and Trad Moore's Silver Surfer book?
I didn't.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't. And I was really excited about it until I found out that it was a tie-in.
It's very loose. It's barely. It's more like if you read that alone, you wouldn't understand the tie-in.
All right.
It's more like the other books start taking from it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, because that Trad Moore really.
Dude, he fucking kills it on that. That's why I'm excited for his Doctor Strange stuff. But honestly, I'm a big Silver Surfer guy. Whenever there's a Silver Surfer book, I'm picking it up. I remember like Greg Pak did like a mini years ago that was real fun. And then Dan Slott, I guess, was the only one really to do an ongoing.
Yeah.
Which that was just Doctor Who. Let's be real.
I mean, that's what this sounds like to me.
I'm cool with Silver Surfer being the Doctor Who analog in the Marvel universe. That's fine.
John Jennings is very talented. This is not a name that I'm really familiar with.
What did he win an Eisner?
Yeah.
So John Jennings apparently does art and writes. Multi-talented. So he won a Hugo for Parable of the Sower, which is a really good book actually, by Octavia Butler. And Jennings did the art in the graphic novel version of that. So that's pretty cool. He also did My Superhero is Black, which was the Marvel book that they put out where it was like talking about like the black superheroes in Marvel and stuff like that. Kindred, which was another Octavia E. Butler book that got adapted. So he's done a lot of stuff. Not new to comics by any means. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm into this. February 1st.
So is this design that they've tweeted in the article, is that supposed to be Ghostlight? Do we know?
I think that's Ghostlight, yeah. Because he ain't silver.
And Tyler, remember how before the show we were talking about Silver Surfer being black in our minds?
In my mind, he's always been coated black.
Huh.
John Jennings is black.
I know, and it seems like a lot of the work he's worked on has been about the black experience too. So,
yeah,
interesting.
See you later, Catherine. Take care. Thanks for joining. Yes, best of luck with the move. All right. So speaking of new books, let's talk about one that maybe is a little bit puzzling. So Marvel has announced. Well, they've announced a few books, but the first one we're going to talk about is called X-23 Deadly Regenesis. Anything strike you guys funny about that?
They demoted her.
Ah, so okay? So that is what I was going at.
Yeah.
But did they? So Deadly Regenesis rather, is we don't know. We don't really know any story details about what this is going to be, but we do know the creative team, Erica Schultz, getting a pretty big shot at Marvel. That's pretty cool for her. Erica Schultz is a creator that I only know through Comic-Con. We have seen her. I've seen Erica Schultz
name's
literally every single time I have been to Comic-Con. She's been there. So Erica Schultz getting this opportunity with art by Edgar Salazar coming out in March. Now, Deadly Genesis is a comic book that we have seen before. That's actually the story from Giant Size X-Men #1. If you guys remember that, that's where we learned that actually there was this whole other crew of X-Men and they died and there needs to be a new crew of X-Men and all that kind of jazz. So it's sort of a flashback to flash forward type of thing. This Deadly Regenesis might be a flashback to X-23's past.
Oh, fair. Okay. I mean,
So that's kind of
I love Laura Kinney as a character. So like,
Yeah.
if there is a new Laura Kinney book, whether she's Wolverine, whether she's X-23, I'm reading it. It's just one of those characters I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, God, this is the second time I'm bringing up Fortnite. Marvel just released an X-23 Fortnite skin too, which I thought was a little weird. It was like, why is she X-23 in this as well? Like literally like the day before this was announced, which I thought was a little weird synergy going on. But
it's also possible, tying into our theory from last week, that Marvel might be gearing up the X-Men for a rubber band so that they can launch the movies
fair
seamlessly. It's possible that they're trying to move her back into, just being plain old X-23, which I don't think there's anything wrong with, but it's possible that that's what they're angling towards.
Especially, not necessarily an issue with X-23, but it's more of an issue of we only want one Wolverine because that's going to be more important going forward, just in terms of synergy and stuff. Which I get. I just hope there's a good story reason for it because she's really like her profile in the X-Men mythos is pretty high up now. So
yeah, I don't want to see her, return into the shadows or anything like that.
Not at all.
But I think she's had a good clip of good stories over the last 5+ years at this point.
And like sincere character growth, which you don't see in comics really, especially the big two.
Well, there was a lot of room for that. So good thing they did that with X-23, and I hope it continues.
I'll see the leg on this cover.
Yeah, I've been looking at it.
Ooh. She needs to get some pins or something in that
my
ankle.
favorite now is I've been using her.
Busted.
Yeah, she got like it's got Ramita Spidey vibes.
Yeah.
But in Fortnite I play as X-23 now because I got the skin, and every when I kill someone I pop up the Wu-Tang emote, so it just starts playing Cream after I kill you. Some real BM shit. Yeah.
We also got Rogue and Gambit
Let's
announced.
Go.
Stephanie Phillips with art from Carlos Gomez. This is interesting. Rogue and Gambit have had a few series over the last few years, but Gambit's dead. So
sorry?
Yeah.
No, he's not. Didn't he?
Isn't that the whole point of this place is that he doesn't die?
Well, he's in Otherworld right now. So.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see how they pull it off. Destiny's on the cover behind Rogue and Gambit, so
that's her stepmom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever read the Mr. and Mrs. X? I think it was Kelly Thompson. It is fantastic. It is really, really good. That was probably like top 5 books coming out at the time. Like that whole Mr. and Mrs. X into I think it was Rogue and Gambit. They relaunched it at one point to something a little more meaningful. I love these two together. It's great. They have cats in their apartment. Like Gambit's a cat guy, which made me enjoy Gambit for the first time in a long time. I like how in the background of this cover, yeah, we have Destiny, but we also have Aiden Facey from Secret Warriors and Hickman's Avengers. The Portal guy, he could do portals and stuff.
Oh yes.
I forget his mutant name. And it looks like Penance is behind her as well. Monet's alternate evil persona. That might be Monet. Or either that or it's Lady Deathstrike. I can't quite tell. The fingers are one of the two.
Oh, I see. Yes. I see what you're
Which
saying.
I'm cool with it. I can see like Destiny having these like little flash forwards or whatever, and like trying to get Rogue and Gambit to be her guns, I guess, to try and fix that or propel the future. So
I'm buying this because of Stephanie Phillips, because I have yet to find my way into Stephanie Phillips. She writes a Harley Quinn, I want to say. She was writing that, and I don't really care for Harley too much as a character, but I'm curious to see, what Stephanie Phillips does. So I want to buy this for sure. I want to check this out.
she did Grimm, right? Or she's doing.
Oh
Grimm.
my God! Of course, yeah, Grimm.
Yeah.
What am I
You
talking
liked
about? Grimm is great.
So
Grimm is
Grimm
Grimm is really good.
This
Yes.
is a good sign.
Yeah.
I will not be buying this because I don't like Rogue or Gambit.
You don't like
You
Rogue?
don't like Rogue?
You know what? I'm gonna plant my flag. No, I don't care about Rogue.
What if Kiki Palmer gets cast as Rogue?
What the?
Then I'll care about Rogue.
You didn't see that fan casting going on a couple weeks back?
Unfortunately.
Kiki Palmer is Rogue, and
But
love the idea.
I find it, and this is the same with Gambit, though I've had a burning hatred for Gambit a lot longer. I really hate the way people write their dialogue.
Oh,
where
yeah, yeah.
It's like
I
sugar.
can't fucking stand it.
Yeah. It's
I
just Asian.
I don't need that. Like, I'm reading, all you're doing is junking up the word balloons and messing up my reading because now I have to read it in that shitty accent.
Have written Gambit like my old New Orleans ghost tour guide, Skip Guidry.
I have
Love
a
that
hot
dude.
take. I think that Gambit is a bottom tier X-Men character.
I agree with that. I think he
Yeah.
is outside of the animated series. He hasn't done anything consequential, and everyone writes him as a caricature.
He's a bottom tier character.
I would say he's a bottom. When Rogues are
Okay.
white,
Definitely. That man's definitely
yeah.
a bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, if Rogue touches him, he dies. So yeah.
That's why she's got. Yeah, she.
So that boy is a bottom.
Yeah, that's big bottom. energy.
Gambit has like selfish bottom energy too. Like
Yeah.
Starfish.
chocolate starfish.
All right. And then the last announcement we got on the X-Men front is a Captain Britain book, Betsy Braddock's Captain Britain, written by the only person who writes Captain Britain anymore, Teenie Howard. Vasco Georgiev on pencils. We don't know who the colorist is going to be, so okay, fair enough.
They might not know yet either.
Yeah, we've been getting Teenie Howard's Betsy for some time now, pretty much since the start of the House and Powers Krakoa era, and so I'm all in. I think that she's done a great job of bringing Betsy into the fold in a way that allows Betsy and Psylocke to exist separately.
Yeah.
Big surprise, big shock. Psylocke, the loser of that, the Asian Quanon, the Asian character, completely loses out in this. No,
That's what I thought too.
no, Quanon. She loses out. Nowhere to be found that I'm aware of. But we're getting a Betsy Braddock book.
She was in Hellions. Psylocke was
Yes.
the star of Hellions,
Yeah.
Well, I think Captain Britain now is the only queer-led Marvel title.
Huh.
She is actively dating Rachel Gray in the books. They finally have a big old kiss splash page.
Mhm.
which is nice to see. I like these characters. I like not
Was
like
it nice
that.
to see, Tyler?
Oh, all right. I plead.
Be careful.
Choose your words carefully, Tyler.
No, it was nice to see the
Uh-huh.
X-Men kind of character development and confirmation of a lot of fan shipping, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, for many years. All right,
I'm
let's
cool
move
with this.
forward. Go ahead.
Can I ask before we go to it? What do you think of Captain Britain's new costume? You guys a fan?
Is this it?
Wait,
previous
which
Captain Britain?
are you
what's his
talking?
face?
You're Betsy or
Not Betsy, her brother, Brian
Oh.
Braddock.
yeah.
I like it.
It's cool. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Cyclops' Phoenix 5 costume.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We should
This
do a
just
ranking
happens.
one day of Cyclops costumes. That dude has a lot.
Oh yeah.
we could do that on the show in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. What is Brian goes by Avalon now? Is that what he goes by?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm cool with this. I'm liking the whole teeny verse of the whole section of the Marvel universe she's kind of carved out for herself.
I want to see her do more. I really do. Why is she relegated to only the X-Men books? I feel like she could do other things.
Not only the X-Men books, but only the X-Men in Otherworld books.
Right.
It's a strange pigeonhole, but if she's enjoying it, I mean,
Yeah, maybe that's
they
where
keep
she
giving her
wants to be.
new volumes of it, so something's working.
I just feel like at the big two writers, they get stuck. I don't know. That's been my thought for years, where writers kind of get, as you said, pigeonholed, and then that's kind of that's where they're at.
Isn't she doing a couple of books at DC now too?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All of
Could
them.
do that. Yeah.
Vita, Leah, and Teeny all started working for DC within the last year or so, whereas before that they were just Marvel. So I don't know if there's something to that. I personally feel like there's a story we will never get about what happened when Jonathan Hickman was leaving the X-Men
Yeah.
that caused the other writers to be frustrated and go and do other things. I think there's a story there. But that's just
Yeah.
me chatting. Speaking of chatting, let's talk about a couple of things we missed in the last couple of weeks since we were busy with stuff. And I want to this next one I want to kind of get through just because we have big stuff to talk about coming up. But Armor Wars went from a television show to a movie. Disney Plus was going to have the Armor Wars TV show starring Don Cheadle. Now Marvel has made a decision to turn it into a full-fledged movie.
Oh.
It's funny because just a few weeks ago they had that reveal of their slate for, through 2025, which is now through 2026, and Armor Wars was scheduled as a television show. And then not even a month later, practically, they changed that. So weird that would happen, and then the stuff that we're going to talk about later would occur, all those delays. I wonder if the delays, and this plays into a theory that I have, I wonder if the delays weren't known a little further in advance than what we think. Don Cheadle's still attached, of course, and an inside source tells the Hollywood Reporter that they just wanted to tell the story in the right way. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm so happy that this happened. I think Don Cheadle deserves more respect than this, to just have it be a TV show. He's been committed to War Machine since Iron Man 2, and has done for that character, I think, a great job. He's an actor I respect a lot. I think this is going to be great.
I was confused. I didn't even know this was a Marvel property. I thought this was a second spin-off to the Beauty and the Beast movie. I know they're doing the Gaston one.
Oh, God.
I thought this was about the Armoire.
Nice try.
Man, that was a walk you just took me on. Fuck.
Tyler's in a different stratosphere today.
That caffeine be making me built diff.
What do you guys think about this?
I think it is nice to see Don Cheadle get what he wants, because this dude he took over a role that was originally cast by somebody else. whose name I forget.
Mm.
Hustle and Flow guy.
Oh,
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard,
Terrence
of
Howard,
course.
yeah, which I haven't seen in a while. And like he's always been like second fiddle, and but he's always been consistent too throughout it. And honestly, Marvel's telling their Disney Plus shows like movies anyway. Just making a movie, like save me the time.
For real. Yeah, totally.
I would say like She-Hulk's the first one that's been like, oh, this felt like it was made for a TV show. That's nice to see.
I think, well, I think that we might feel differently if the budgetary constraints weren't so prevalent on that show. But
Fair. I'm just talking about just the way they arc the show and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like they're stretching out movie scripts to fill, weeks worth of content. And it's cool seeing them be like, that's kind of what we were planning on doing, but looking at it, it feels better as a movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. The other huge change, you want to talk about an actor taking on someone else's role. So unfortunately, we did lose William Hurt earlier in the year, a tremendous actor who, of course, within the scope of the Marvel films, portrayed Thunderbolt Ross. For whatever reason, I have always loved William Hurt's Thunderbolt Ross. I thought he was like perfect for that character. All the way from Hulk. I thought he did just such an awesome job. And it really was sad that he died. And we weren't sure, like, are they putting the character on ice? It seemed like they couldn't, at least in my mind, just because we knew even at that point, there has to be a new Captain America movie. I think they had announced a script writer for that at that point. We knew rumblings about Thunderbolts. How could we lose Thunderbolt Ross? Well, it turns out we haven't. And Marvel went big to find an actor. Marvel got Harrison Ford.
Man, they cashed in those Indiana Jones chips real quick. They're like, hey, I know we made you do another Indiana Jones movie. Or like we gladly did that, so here, do us a favor real quick.
And apparently Marvel was going to make this announcement at D23, but Kathleen Kennedy, who runs things at Lucasfilm, put her foot down and said, no, you're not going to take the heat off of our Indiana Jones announcement.
Sure.
And so Marvel was forced to wait, put that on the back burner, let Indiana Jones be the thing. And now we know that Harrison Ford will enter the MCU in this role for a multi-picture deal.
This has only been the dirt sheets, I guess, right? There's been an official Disney announcement of this so far. As far as I can tell, it's like Collider and stuff have been announcing it.
So there was a point at which, around D23 time, this was being reported as rumor. Just before D23. After D23, it was being reported as fact, but that Kathleen Kennedy did not want the announcement to be made. And, now, especially Collider's a pretty reputable website, I would say. For them to be saying this feels like, I guess to your point, Disney has not explicitly said Harrison Ford is playing the character.
Sure.
So
you guys think he just had some extra plane crashes he needed to pay for, or
shoot. I'm surprised by this. I gotta say.
I think this leads to an actual Red Hulk, like where Harrison Ford's such a big name actor, they got to do something wacky for this character. I feel.
I think that Red Hulk was going to be in Thunderbolts regardless. That's my thought. I think he was always going to be in it. And now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
So, cool.
I'm more surprised Harrison Ford agreed to this than Disney wanting him to be like, obviously, it's Harrison Ford. It's fucking Han Solo. It's Indiana Jones. Like, sure, throw him into another huge fucking universe.
Well, I feel sorry for him. It's another thing nerds are going to ask him about that he does not give a shit about.
He only cares about Indiana Jones. Like, that's all he cares about. Yeah.
Does he care about Indiana Jones?
He really does. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
There are a couple of like interviews where you see him like light up when he's asked about Indiana Jones.
Do you guys crying on stage?
Wow.
Yeah. He's like, I'm glad I'm in a good one again. And then he started like literally tearing up.
Do you guys know why he doesn't care about Han Solo? Like, was that a result of the way the character was utilized in this crop of the most recent crop of films, or has this been
No, it's been before that. Yeah, I think he wanted to be killed off before Return of the Jedi. Like, I think he wanted Empire to be killed off then. I think he was just tired of it. I think the fan base was too much for him.
Even at that point?
Yeah.
Empire days? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's sad. Is that why they encased him in that stuff? Because they weren't sure they'd be able to get him back? Carbonite.
I believe, yeah, I believe so. I believe the plan that he wanted was like, kill me in this. But which I think is why he came back for Force Awakens, because he's like, all right, cool. Finally do what I wanted you to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Don't you dare bring me back.
Yep.
Oh my god. Yeah, Sylv confirming everything that we just said. Yeah. I like it when actors are excited about the stuff they're doing, but they really don't have to be. Harrison Ford, he's obviously talented. So.
But you don't want Black Adam, Dwayne the Rock Johnson levels of excitement. That's a little too high up for me.
I said actor.
Oh,
I'm sorry, that's rude.
Damn, you're about to get people's elbow.
I love The Rock. I don't know.
Not the actor's elbow. I think my favorite Harrison Ford thing was in The Force Awakens, Poe.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac, yeah.
Oscar Isaac, yes.
Yeah.
Sat down in the Millennium Falcon with Harrison Ford and said, "Is there anything I should know?" And Harrison Ford was like, "No, it's fake."
Wow.
Wouldn't it be funny though, like, if like Harrison Ford is like a secret big Marvel nerd, and like he's excited for this?
That'd be great, but there's a non-zero chance of that happening.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, you should stop saying non-zero chances.
Yeah, you'd think you'd learn your
I
lesson.
just supercut that.
I've had about
when I was re-editing that, and you say there is a 0% chance, I'm like, motherfucker. Thank you for saying that. I was cracking up by myself. Just
whatever. Let's talk about the reason why all of the delays, all that crap that we talked about at the beginning of the episode. Let's discuss why that's happening. Why I think it might be happening. There's two theories that I have. This one is the most forward-facing that I think most people have. So while we were busy, we didn't report on this, but we learned that the director of Blade, Bassam Tariq, stepped down, put out an announcement that he was stepping down from directing the movie Blade. This was the statement. It was posted on Instagram and then picked up by, everybody. Dear friends, it's been a minute. Blade's been a beautiful ride. At this moment, I'm filled with love and gratitude towards the folks at Marvel, as well as the incredible crew and cast we assembled. I'm eager to support and see how the next director builds on the foundation we've set. I'll now be joining the project as an EP as I move on to what is next. So, okay. Now I even mistakenly said on the show last week, I think it was, oh man, Blade's delayed. And Tyler was like, oh, it's not delayed. It's just, well,
spoke too soon.
Here we are. Because a week from then, we got the announcement that Blade was in fact on pause. What does on pause mean? At the time, we didn't know. We didn't know what on pause meant. What does that mean? But when you lose your director for a movie that's supposed to come out in a year from now, is literally supposed to come out November 3rd, 2023. So just over a year. When you lose your director, you need to push back. There's no way. You have to.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. They pushed Blade back one whole year. Now Blade is coming out September 6th, 2024. And of course, the reasoning is, according to a source, they want to get it right. How hard is it to get Blade right?
That's my favorite tweet coming out of all this writers stuff from this next wave of WB cancellations and stuff is you can tell the industry's having a lot of trouble because a major studio can't get a guy who kills vampires with a sword, right?
Yeah, an
We've been
awesome
doing-
dude
Yeah.
who
We've been doing
kills vampires with guns and stakes and explosion. Like, hello, why is this so difficult?
We've been doing Dracula movies since the dawn of cinema. Like Nosferatu,
Yeah, this is unreal.
You know?
You trying to get
It's-
Wesley Snipes back, or
I think they have.
I
him.
mean, at this point, I was reading and confirm or deny this, Sean, but I was reading Marshall Ali also unhappy because of all the kerfuffle going on here.
Yep, absolutely.
Like your movie
That
getting
is-
delayed a whole year screws up your fucking schedule. As an actor.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Sam? Yes, exactly. It's unbelievable how you could have a problem getting Blade right, and especially because there's a blueprint already. The first Blade movie, I contend, is legitimately good.
I've never seen it. I've never seen a Blade
No,
movie.
we got to
Yeah.
watch that. That's got to be a group thing we do.
I've been meaning
Yeah.
to. I watched something about like there was like a dance club in the first one.
Yes.
It's
yeah,
like a big famous scene. Yeah.
we gotta hit that before Halloween. We better do that soon.
I watched
I'm
a Goofy
with it.
movie for the first time yesterday, so I'm going through my my backlist right now.
They're pretty
Goofy
similar.
movie,
Yeah.
Blade, yeah. That's I don't understand that one. So that announcement caused a cascade of delays because on October 11th, which we're now going to refer to as 10/11,
Oh boy. Oh boy. Never forget.
Marvel announced to the world that they were going to be shifting, quote unquote, their release dates across the board. We saw delays to many, many movies within phase 5 and 6. And the delays are as follows. Blade, November 3rd, 2023 to September 6th, 2024. Deadpool 3, which legitimately has Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in it.
We haven't talked about that yet.
We haven't even talked about that. That's so shocking. I feel like there's not like a ton to say, like yippee, hooray. Which is coming out. It was supposed to come out September 6th, 2023, to November 8th, 2024. Or was it? Well, it might have been September 6th, 2024. So now it's November 8th, 2024. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic Four was delayed from November 8th, 2024 to February 14th, 2025. So as you can see, they're literally just bumping everything up by one. Because Deadpool was September 6th. That's now Blade. November 8th was Fantastic Four. That's now Deadpool. Kang Dynasty is actually staying at May 2nd, 2025, but Secret Wars is going from November 7th, 2025 to May 1st, 2026.
Ugh.
So we were promised two Avengers films in 1 year. That's no longer happening.
I'm writing to the manager. I was promised this.
And then there were untitled Marvel movies that got delayed. We don't need to go into that. Like, who cares? But those dates have shifted as well. So this caused a whole big kerfuffle, and the internet exploded. That is our main topic today. Those of you watching on Twitch, you know the routine. 5 minutes or less, we'll be back. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about all of this, and I'm going to tell you my theory about what really happened here
Ooh.
and why I don't actually blame Blade for Fantastic Four being delayed. We'll be right back.
There we go. Oh, no, we don't need to.
No. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for waiting, sticking around. If you're still here with us, hopefully that means you enjoyed the show. If you do, please do leave us a subscription on YouTube if that's where you're watching, or a follow anywhere else. If you're watching us live on Twitch, we would love it if you could gift us a sub, or rather give us a sub. Subscribe to our Twitch channel. If you have Amazon Prime, that's actually completely free for you to do, and we do get a little kick, so we appreciate that. And if you can't do that, just make sure to follow us wherever it is that you're watching. We appreciate all the support. So let's start with the delays. We talked about how much each movie's been delayed. I want to know how badly you guys think this impacts Marvel. So I think that a delay of this magnitude, where you're talking about things being delayed a year out and stuff like that, I think that especially post D23 and stuff like that, and San Diego, where they gave us this whole, this whole timeline of their films and stuff, for this delay to happen so quickly after that, I think it looks really bad. I also think people have been a little bit frustrated with Marvel lately. I count myself among them. People who haven't necessarily been loving what they've been putting out lately from a film standpoint, and are a little bit anxious to get into what feels like should be the meat of the phase 4, 5, and 6 story, which we kind of haven't hit on yet. The most we've really gotten that pushes the story forward has been Loki. And that was at least a year ago, and was a television show. So from a movie standpoint, they haven't done much.
In my opinion, is like, it'll come out. Like, whether or not it comes out is not a question. Like, the shit's gonna happen. And if it needs to bake a little longer for quality's sake, so be it. I'm hoping they can use this time to not fucking overwork their VFX crew. There's a good little joke in the She-Hulk finale, so slight spoilers for that, where like they mentioned the VFX crew in it. They need to go on to the next project, and then a quick Wakanda drums plays in the background. So like, just in hearing what the VFX crews have had to go through.
Why did you just spoil that? What is that?
You won't catch it unless unless you know it. I had to watch it like 3 times before I caught that. Yeah, if it means like that can gestate a little longer, fair, fine with me. If like, I'm the same way about video games. Like, I am happy when there's delays almost, because I'm like, all right, fucking work on it longer. You can never work on it too long, in my opinion. Actually, you can, because then it'll never come out, and then you have Black Adam. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I almost think there are other ways to get us hyped for these things at this point than announcing, giving ironclad dates and then changing them.
Sure.
2 weeks later. Like, I don't think at this point, it seems kind of silly that they would announce dates like that, especially post-COVID.
Just announce the phase. Like, that's all we need to know. And then once you've like solidified the date, then tell us the date.
Like, I don't think it's ridiculous that, the idea that Marvel knows we're going to go see it. So lean into that. Tell us get us excited for the actual content instead of this random date that they pull out of a hat, and, make it worth something.
The importance of dates for films it can't be understated. They do this for a variety of reasons. Some of it is, hey, we're staking our claim. Like, stay away from this day. For other studios to know, like, all right, for a month, we can't really put out anything heavy because there's an Avengers movie in theaters, and, we can't do that. It also, of course, having a target is incredible. Being able to say to investors, this is when you can expect this is that. there's so many reasons why a date is important, and it has become important for audiences. It's become something that we look forward to knowing and stuff like that. But I agree. If you can't say something is locked in, like if it can change so fast, think about it. When was San Diego? When was D23?
Tail
Like
end of
this is
July and then September.
it's not like we're talking about 6 months ago. If the dates are so loose that this can happen, then maybe just don't tell us. We were able to excuse it, at the height of COVID, because I mean, my God, please, there were bigger concerns. And there still are bigger concerns. I'm not trying to say that this is the most important thing in the world, but you told us this was happening at a certain point. You actually hyped the 2 Avengers in 1 year thing. And now that's not happening. To me, that's very odd. And I think Marvel's been losing a little bit. I think they've kind of been losing. I think that their most recent batch of films have not been overwhelmingly well received. Even Thor: Love and Thunder, which I thought was a shoo-in, was kind of I think She-Hulk has been mostly positive, but there's a lot of negative. And even if you even if you parse through the BS, right? The people who are being negative about it because they're misogynists, or the people who are incels, or if you remove that from the equation, there's still reasonable criticism of She-Hulk.
Fair.
Not that anything's ever going to not be criticized, but heavily criticized. So what does Marvel have to do to get this right? For me, it was the promise of a positive future. Because even Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which is dropping soon, I'm not over the moon about it anymore. I think I've been brought down a few pegs by all of the things that I haven't enjoyed that much. And now the stuff that I was really looking forward to, which was Phase 5 and 6, is all pushed back a year.
You're
going
to
to
be gray by that point.
Huh?
You're going to be gray by that point.
I'm already dealing with that now, Tyler.
I know.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Hey, you'll look good with the salt and pepper. You'll be fine.
Listen, Tyler, I don't need your crap today, okay? I've gotten enough of it.
Yeah, you said 2026 for that Avengers film, and I'm just like, fuck. Do you remember when we thought 2022 was the future?
Yeah.
I can't imagine 2026, let alone being excited for an Avengers film right now for 2026.
That'll be the 10-year reunion of the Secret Wars comic or something like that, right?
The people, the Avengers we have now are going to have to retire at the end of it the same way Robert Downey Jr. did.
That's why they're doing Young Avengers.
It's right. It's I think that is a horrible business practice at this point. We don't need to know about multiple phases at once. But because they don't make, in my opinion, they haven't been focused on making every phase matter, they have to do this. Phase 4 feels irrelevant. So they have to promote Phase 5 and 6 to get you hyped. What have we seen been this big bombshell? Even Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I thought that was the movie for the future. That was the one that was going to set us on a course. It didn't do that. It didn't do that at all. The only relevant scene in that movie as far as the future is the last one, the after credits. Everything else is just whatever.
And even that,
we don't know. Yeah, we don't even know. As far as what Marvel has said, that doesn't tie into anything. That could just be a tease for Doctor Strange 3. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I think the issue is that whether or not a movie ties into the greater mythos of the MCU, being what matters is something Marvel's built up. I've learned in comics to not care about what matters. I can appreciate something for what it is. Your first reaction right now to talking about Multiverse of Madness is it didn't matter. I thought it was a great movie in and of itself.
I didn't though.
Sure,
that's the difference.
But you also need to catch up on some of your Sam Raimi stuff. We need to have you watch some Evil Dead. but like that's what they've force fed us. Like, oh, this you got to watch this this new chapter in the Marvel universe to see where the rest of the story is going to go, which we haven't really.
Well,
Begun.
that's what they've been doing since day one.
That's literally Iron Man 1.
I know, and I'm saying like they've conditioned us to consider that being what matters, and then for them to just have a drought of that recently, it's like, whoa, what am I watching this for? What am I doing?
See, I agree in the sense that they definitely about what's next all the time. But I feel that their movies have stood on quality as well. If you're a fan of the MCU, this is the first time that I've been like, wait a second, I just flat out don't like these movies. Like Thor: Love and Thunder could have had Kang in it. There could have been a stinger at the end that showed him and you know, whatever. And I just didn't like the movie. That wouldn't change that. Black Panther didn't really have any like big stings for the future, just that Winter Soldier was hanging out. But that movie's phenomenal to me.
The big stinger at the end of Black Panther is a white dude.
But that's my point, is like, I feel like either the movie's going to be great, you know, and really enjoyable, or it's going to not be great, but it's at least going to hype me up for the future. And these latest string of films haven't done either one. So what is Marvel leaning on? They're leaning on the future by showing us the schedule. Now the schedule's delayed. The movies I'm excited about are not coming out until 2025, 2026. I cannot get excited for a movie that's 4 years away. Come on, this is crazy.
The Comic Spells will have a whole studio by that point, though. So, like,
Or we'll be dead.
it.
We don't know if Marco's alive right now. He might not make it to Black Adam.
Yep.
We should stop making jokes about that just in case.
Yeah, you're right. But he's not dead. He's fine. But
he could be.
could be. Yeah. Schrodinger's Marco.
This could be a Jacob's Ladder situation.
It could be. We don't know. But I think Marvel has to fix that problem. Stop focusing on the big picture and make the small picture matter. Make every single movie matter. I feel like they're churning things out too much. There's way too many shows. When you look at that list of stuff that's coming out, it's crazy.
And has come out in like everything that's been on Disney Plus has been on Disney Plus for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like that. That's a 2-year time frame from WandaVision to She-Hulk.
They're drunk.
That's
and Agatha
nuts.
show? Why? Because people liked her? That's the no. Look,
I'm a Catherine Hahn stan, so
that's
give me whatever.
that's wonderful for every Catherine Hahn fan.
We all have 2 eyes and a heart, of course.
She was a piece of the story of Scarlet Witch. She does not need a television show when, yeah, you could do that in comics because, you know, you hire a writer, colorist, you know, inker, whoever you need, letterer, editor, and you put the team together. That's great. When you're making a television show, it requires a lot more than that. That's literal, actual resources that get diverted. They have to stop. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, a comic book, you're looking what, $1,000. A TV show, you're talking in the millions. Like, what are we doing
Right.
here?
Big
And that's
millions.
Catherine Hahn's contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do you think Don Cheadle was about to get paid to do Armor Wars? Scraps? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What-
a good joke.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Unintentional.
I'm glad that you guys caught that. But it's untenable. I really believe that. And I've sung a different tune in the past because I love this stuff so much, and I did not think this would be the outcome.
Oh,
Burnout
maybe
is
you lose
one
a
thing.
bet.
I'm not burned out. I just don't think it's been good. And I think part of that is due to the oversaturation on their end and a lack of focus on quality. Not everybody feels like that, but so
Interesting. What you just said made me think of the conversation about like the superhero bubble. And it's funny that the 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 oversaturation or whatever, it's not necessarily come from the outside. Like, we're not so tired of it because of what's been put out. It's them putting so much pressure into the growing bubble that it's working on popping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Without it feels like any idea can become a project if enough people just like it. And
Yeah.
that's not enough. To me, that's just not enough. You can't even get they can't even put out a fucking Luke Cage comic book. Okay?
Yep.
When it costs a couple shekels.
Uh-huh.
But you could put out a show, a whole probably 6-7 episode television show about a side character in someone else's show who, by the way, was a side character in the movies. Scarlet Witch
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
just
right.
a member of the Avengers, not the leader, not the second, not the third. She got a show. That's great. I'm happy. And then a side character in that gets a show. They were talking about doing a show for the FBI investigator from that show. I forget what his name was.
John Boner.
No,
Woo.
Woo.
You just wanted to
Thank
say
you,
boner.
Jimmy Woo. Yeah.
Jimmy
yeah, yeah.
Woo. Come on,
To be fair, he could do an Agents of Atlas thing with him. Just saying.
that's fine. But then, but how many projects do we need?
And that's part of the problem.
Right.
We could do this.
We're gonna get.
We could do this.
Yeah.
It's
Sean,
too
we're
much.
eventually gonna get a Disney Plus series of Night Thrasher. You know, like we just had Werewolf by Night that we never even talked about. Like that was a thing
I
that
haven't
came
even
out.
watched it. But hey, it worked out, right? It was good. I don't care
was
what you
very
put out
good.
if it's good. It was unique. It was different, and by all accounts, it was done very well. So
New
that's
format,
fine.
too.
Yeah, so that's good. That's wonderful. But Moon Knight, come on.
I also don't think like they've, especially with their TV shows, they have not perfected the pacing. It's like movie people started doing TV and they've never done it before. You know, I talked about this with previously on this episode, where like it feels like it's just a movie's length of content stretched to its brink. Honestly,
And I think that is due to the fact that it's on a streaming service. Streaming services do not have to worry about week over week ratings. And
Fair.
so you can do things like that. And I mean, you literally can do it, but clearly it's not working out in their favor. At least I don't think so. I think that Marvel needs to feel more pressure to put out the best they can, not just whatever. You know, Eternals, that didn't need to happen. It's a sequestered thing. They haven't even gone back to it. That movie came out a year ago. We haven't seen these characters again. No one's thinking about it. Why did it exist?
you say that, but if Eternals was good, you'd be saying otherwise. You know what I mean? Like Guardians of the Galaxy did not need to exist as a property, but it hit. And
But
look
they
what
had a great
happened.
idea. That's the point.
Sure,
what was the idea
sure.
behind Eternals that was so great that it had to happen?
Yeah, I
Guardians of
agree.
the Galaxy.
It's a creative issue. It's a creative issue.
Right. Exactly.
I
That's
think
what
the
I'm coming.
characters. Yeah.
I'm that in the old days when Kevin Feige was overseeing every film and had a deep connection with the creators and was able to figure out how does this work for you, how does this work for Marvel, creators would leave. They would say, you know what, this doesn't work for me. This isn't the right idea for me because Marvel has to have something happen for them that works for them. Okay, fine. The movies at that time, and there were some stinkers. I'm not saying no, but you could see why they made it. I don't see why Eternals exists. The idea is not that hot. It's not so hot that it has to be done. And then the movie wasn't that great. It wasn't even great. It wasn't even good.
And even still, the concept in the film itself raises more questions about the universe that don't make sense.
That they don't appear to be all that interested in answering right now. And I'll give them time, but how many of these are we going to have?
And also, just like how much time are we going to give them? You know, like, are we talking into the 2030s, 2040s? Like, how the next Avengers film is 20, what do we say, 2025?
Yeah.
That's nuts. Like, and it's not ridiculous. Like that's what we waited for Infinity War when that came around, like, but still just, I don't know.
In that case, right? We had an Avengers film per phase,
Mhm.
2 in the last one, and Civil War, which was Avengers 2.5.
Mhm.
So there was that. You could count on that. You could bank on that. And they all hit. Whether you like them or not personally, they were all blockbusters that core fans really enjoyed. So for the people they were made for, they were solid. Age of Ultron, maybe not. But overall, strong entries. Now you're saying, we don't need an Avengers movie. We'll show you what we can do without the Avengers. I'm not interested.
Do you think at this point they're going to start seeing real losses?
No.
No,
Yeah.
it's a machine. It's an unstoppable
Yeah.
machine at this point.
I think the phase 5 and 6 slate looks really good. I really do. Deadpool's going to blow people away from a financial standpoint.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being able to have Hugh Jackman. I think Quantumania looks awesome. I'm really excited for Blade, which of course is delayed. Fantastic Four, I don't care about it anymore.
We have
No,
a
I'm
bit
just
of a
kidding.
grudge now, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's all we've been waiting for, but we've been waiting.
And we have untitled stuff too.
Yeah.
We have no X-Men yet,
Right.
Like,
I think all this is happening not because of Blade. I truly don't. Blade, as a concept, as a character, I don't know how much that ties into the wider MCU to the point where it would be required for it to drop exactly at that date. That I don't know if I buy into that. If they were planning some big stinger at the end that like opens the doors, okay, maybe. But I feel like if it's that important, but it's not necessarily like related to Blade, you could throw that in another film. I would imagine they've probably done that before. I actually think that they had to do this delay, and they knew they had to do this delay, and they told Bassam Tariq they had to do this delay, and he said, "I cannot do this movie. I'm contractually obligated to other things. This would take away from those. I've already agreed to those. I cannot do this movie. I have to step down." I think Bassam made the decision not for creative differences, but for scheduling differences to step away from Blade. And that Marvel has a problem in-house that required them to delay these films this way. I don't have an answer as to what the problem is, but you can't tell me that it's just a coincidence that they announced all this stuff, that they announced Deadpool with a date. They announced Hugh Jackman being in Deadpool with a firm date and then delayed it not 1 month later. There's no way. Something happened. I can't be swayed from that. Something happened behind the scenes, whether it's a VFX problem where they just don't have enough, or something big that we don't yet know about. But I don't think that Blade is such a huge linchpin that they could not keep their schedule without just moving that movie and keeping stuff going. I don't buy it. Maybe it was Fantastic Four. Maybe they're not ready. And that movie is so huge they have to shift things. But I think something happened. Maybe we'll find out. Stuff like this tends to leak.
Marvel's pretty tight-lipped. There's not much behind the scenes Marvel stuff that leaks.
Yeah, that's why we knew about
mean-
the 3 Spider-Men for years.
Yeah.
That was a surprise for me when I saw it.
And this is a pretty big set of dominoes that's fallen.
Yeah.
Like, do you think this is the biggest pushback they've had?
Yeah.
Or maybe
potentially.
I'm
Go ahead.
wondering if it's like the opposite. Maybe something freed up that they want to slot in earlier, which is forcing everything else back. What if X-Men stuff freed up? They're like, oh wait, what those actor the rumored contracts the original actors had. Maybe they sorted that out. Maybe the Hulk rights freed up, and they're like, whoa, we can slot in something big here. We don't want to announce it yet, but we can do it earlier to kind of get that phase going.
How
I'm
much
thinking at it from
earlier
like a
though?
positive aspect.
We have a comparison point to what you're bringing up.
Sure.
So the closest comparison point is actually Spider-Man.
Sure.
When Spider-Man was in Civil War, obviously that was his first appearance in the MCU. He wasn't actually supposed to be in that movie. Black Panther's role was going to be a little bit bigger, and they just weren't going to have Spider-Man. But they knew that there was a possibility that it could happen. In that case, they slotted Spider-Man into the film. They rewrote it, obviously. They did what they had to do. They rewrote it, slotted Spider-Man into the film, and they made it work. Then they proceeded to release Homecoming 2 years later, even though they didn't know they'd be able to do that. Why? Because Spider-Man and his role in the MCU wasn't so enormous that they couldn't continue with what they had arranged. So in order for me to believe what you're saying, what they have now access to would have to be so ridiculous. It would have to be the X-Men. It'd have to be so insane that it causes everything to shift. Because guess what? It'd have to shift the story. Spider-Man being a shift the story. He's just there. He's great, but he's just there. He doesn't do anything in any of the movies that someone else couldn't have done or been a part of.
Sure.
So the X-Men would literally have to be inserted into all of this, and it would change everything. And I have a hard time believing that just 1 year is enough to get that all sorted.
And that we wouldn't know about that.
Right. No one scooped it? That's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow. But to be fair, it's not like I know for a fact that something happened behind the scenes. But this feels like one of those times. I'm praying for a Sony level hack. That's what I want. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to read those emails.
I want a Rockstar level hack.
Oh man, that one
I want
bummed
full
me
on
out a little bit.
footage.
Yeah, I felt bad for the people who worked on that.
Yeah, me too.
Tyler wants a footage of Kevin Feige going, this Sean Bartley guy, push Fantastic Four back.
Let's
Fuck him.
stick them.
Oh,
And I've done nothing but praise him. I love Kevin Feige.
Maybe he hates you on behalf of me.
That's really harsh.
That Kale Ward guy, he's got some good opinions. Let's stick Sean for him.
Maybe so. What do you guys think, listeners? What are your thoughts on this whole Marvel debacle? Like, I hate the whole, we're in the end times, doom and gloom. I don't believe
I
that.
hope for some doom. I'm okay with no gloom. But
I'm down for doom, but not gloom. I think that Marvel will bounce back from this as long as they learn something. And I don't think, to Kale's earlier point, I don't think that they've ever really had what they've been doing rejected to this degree. Money talks, but I do believe that Marvel has a listening ear. I don't think they're tuned out, but they work so far ahead that even if they've learned lessons from this phase, we're not going to see them applied until phase 7. That's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. So, yeah, I would love to know what you guys at home are thinking. Let us know in the comments section of any place you're listening to this. Also, I want to push this a little more. You can write to us at thecomicspals@gmail.com. Send us a letter. Send us an email. We'd love to read it on the show. We do it every single week. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. And you can tell by how active people have been on Twitter regarding this massive set of delays. Yeah, share your thoughts with us. Also, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/thecomicspals. $3 a month gets you access to our newsletters. Any more than that gets you a lot of other really cool stuff as well. You can vote for our book clubs, which That's up right now on our Patreon page. The choices are
You can
Thunderbolts.
vote for Sean or I's options.
You're not in it. Oh, I see what you
I'm
mean.
just saying that's the trajectory it's been so far.
You know why, right?
Because Marco picked some really obscure shit, and Kale picked Crisis on Infinite Earths 5 times.
Pretty much.
I didn't pick that this time, did I?
No,
Not
you
this
picked
time. No. I
you
think we
picked
stopped
Harrow
from doing it
County.
this time.
Yeah, you picked Harrow County. I think Marco just picked stuff that won't get picked.
Hey, smart guy.
Fair enough. Twitch.tv/The Comics Pals to watch this show live every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays for Pals Pulls. Come hang out with us on that show where we review comics. If you love to read them, we love to talk about them. So let's do that on Thursday. Join our Discord server. We're always having a fun time over there. It's a blast. We love the Discord server. The community's phenomenal. Almost every single person who joined us live this week is over there. So
The Discord server is where the bet was made about Fantastic Four. So like
Yeah.
that's what
That's
we're doing on
right.
Discord.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're lucky, you could get a sick new omnibus from a member of the Comics Pals. Just any old time you want to make a bet.
I am not one who is known for turning bets down.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. So you want to challenge me? Let's do it.
What's our bet? We have $500 on.
You guys had a bet?
But we still have a bet. It was $500 on the Sinister Six not having a titled film
yeah.
by 2028.
I think it's 28.
You guys went that far out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. In retrospect, I don't know why I made that bet.
Wait, who was on?
That shit ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna owe you
Kale,
some
you
big
said,
money,
You
dude.
said yes.
Ooh,
Sean
baby.
said no.
Yeah.
What's that, Tyler?
Sean, you said it would come out, and Kale said it wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's Sony.
You were still banking on Chameleon at that point, weren't you?
Well, it's just because, like, especially at that time, I was knee deep in the Sony hacks, and it's been their dream since the early to mid 2000s to make this movie. But now I don't think it's gonna happen. We'll see.
Plus they announced Craven, Silver Sable, fucking
Morbius
there
at
was
the time.
Madam Web in
Morbius.
production currently.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
So
some
I felt
wild
like they
sell
were
photos from
clearly
that.
building towards it, but now that I've been disappointed with this Fantastic Four thing, I'm done with all bets.
Well,
Until the next
thank you, MCU, for curing Sean's gambling habit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't gamble at all. I went to Vegas. I didn't spend $1 on gambling. It's just I just like to bet people for fun over here.
You like the gloat
I'm not even
rather
like
than
that.
the actual gain.
Sorry?
You like the gloat that you can get over the actual gain of the bet.
No, I like what it does for the show.
Fair, yeah.
It's it's a good angle. I'll do anything for the show, except dress up for the Hellfire Gala.
Howard.
Yeah, fair enough. What else do I have to plug? You guys know all the rest. Kale, plug yourself.
Ooh.
Oh, usually my wife tells me that. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Comics Pals. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Toto in Tow. That's TOTOINTOW. You can find my work at kalelord.com and Amazon.com or your local comic book store, because you can pick up Adam the Beginning, a manga that I lettered for Titan. That is out and in stores. Please go pick it up. It's a Tezuka idea that is really, really cool. I think, if you like fighting robots, you'll really like this. So yeah, please go pick it up.
A couple people in Discord already picked it up from what I saw. Saw some pictures of it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't even have my comps yet. Real mad about it.
Is that just an England thing?
It's a Titan thing.
They're due though. Like you should
I
have
hope
had
so.
them.
How many comps do you get? Like, how does that work? Do you get like a box?
This is my first one, man. I don't know.
Wow, interesting. I'm curious.
Tyler.
You can follow me at the Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter. What can you talk to me about? Shit, whatever you want. I'll talk to you about whatever. Except Draculas. I don't like Draculas. Don't talk to me about Draculas. Or Craculas, as I.
Especially, oh my god, especially now with this Blade delay.
Nah, I'm done with the Draculas, man. It's too spooky right now. It's spooky season.
I'll never forget the date 10/11. I'll never let that.
I won't
go.
either because I had to edit it into that. Yeah, I edited the title screens for the dates were the same sound effect and font used in the Majora's Mask Dawn of the First Day.
Yep. I caught that. Yep.
little Easter egg there for you. I thought you'd get that, Cal.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram only at Sean Soapbox if you want to donate to the fund, to pay Kefis or to buy Kefis and Omnibus. I mean, I haven't given up.
His Patreon money is getting recycled back to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Marco's using the Patreon money for, a certain fund.
Whatever nefarious scheme he's got going on.
Well, we joked off. Well, I don't even know if I should say that. Never mind. Yeah, I won't say that. But yeah, so I'm not going to misappropriate our funds, okay? Don't worry about it. It'll come out of my pocket.
I want my bet money straight out of your wallet.
Oh, you will. If you win the bet, you will get it.
Yeah. Don't even. If I sniff Patreon on this, you'll be sorry.
One thing I think you could say about me is that I keep it professional. I would never steal from. I'm not a crook.
I'm not a crook.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what Richard Nixon said.
Exactly. Well,
big
all right,
big
but he
old
was
tricky
lying.
dick move right there. Tricky dick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. For Tyler and Kale and Marco, who's missing, I'm Sean saying until next time, take care, guys.
See you next week.